And I'm just on here because I put up a song earlier uh, that I wrote, and it's called "Don't Give Up on God." And it's one of the songs that I wrote in my recovery period, and I'm gonna get to that in just a few seconds. Um, God was dealing with me today, um, and literally, He put it in me to tell my full testimony. Well, not my full testimony, but just my testimony period. And I'm just doing this because, again, I'm here to encourage the people. Not bash the people for their wrongdoing, but let them know that there is a better way. I can get right into it. I grew up in the church. I'm the son of of now a bishop, and my mother is the overseer of our church, Word of Faith Christian Fellowship. And I grew up in St. James Apostolic Temple, where Apostle Joseph Scott is our chief prelate, and also along with his wife, Mother Marie Scott. And I grew up there, and until the age of 12, just always in the church. And at 12, my dad got branched out, not branched out, but formed his own church underneath of our chief prelate, our apostle, in the Outreach Covenant Fellowship. And you know, it was a hard thing to deal with because I felt like I was taken away from all of my friends and all these people that were coming to my father's church at the time. Well, I ain't know him, so I kind of was, standoffish in the beginning with people. Then I warmed up to them, and then, eventually when I got older, let's say 19, I was 19 when fell at odds with my parents, and didn't feel right with God at all. Just didn't see how He could be this God, and all this stuff was happening, and how foolish of me to think that way. And I'm not going to say because I was young and dumb as an excuse of why I didn't have faith, but uh, most of us know that God has a way of pulling you back in and showing you that He is God, and He still will be God today, here, and forevermore. So, left the church when I was 19, stayed away for about a year. And in this time, I was doing all types of stuff. I became an alcoholic. I was in much denial about it. I just thought I drank a lot, but really every day I woke up with the taste of alcohol in my mouth instead of food. Um, you know, uh, so left the church, and I was coming back and forth. I was playing at another church, on Sundays, and I will only go to my church for special, events or anything, or just show up whenever I wanted to show up. From the age of 19 until 25, I did everything there was in the living the life spectrum of, being a party promoter, being a rapper, being a singer, smoking, drinking, all types, being in the streets heavy, you know, thinking that gaining a reputation in the streets was the it thing to do, as we have this hood mentality. If your name don't ring bells in the streets, you really ain't nobody. And in the hood, that's a true thing, but in life, it really doesn't matter what your name is in the streets, because at the end of the day, when you live in that life, living by the bullet, or living by the bottle, or living by the smoke, whatever, eventually that stuff is going to catch up to you. So when I turned 25, I'm at this age where I think I'm invincible, and I don't think nothing could touch me. I'm still partying and drinking every day. I probably didn't go underneath of $60 a day on alcohol. It was at least a half a gallon. And if I didn't drink at least a half a gallon, I felt like my day wasn't productive because I didn't reach my limit of drunkenness. Um, so I turned 25, and like I said, I was in this mode where I didn't think nothing could touch me. And it was one day I was at the house and I'm doing, remodeling work, and I'm in the house, just chilling, about to go to work. So I'm on my way walking to work from my house, and this is about July 27th, 2015, and 4:15 p.m. I can't forget that time. My eyes, the first phase started going out. The first phase was, my eyes were a little bit blurry, and from a child, I had a astigmatism, so I just thought, squint your eyes and it come back into focus, and it did. Then the second phase was that my eyes went into a mode of watching. It's almost like you're watching a 3D TV, but without the glasses. It was yellow, green, and red, just like it was just really blurry in that aspect. Then I squinted and my sight came back. Then the third phase was that my eyesight went out like a slow curtain on a play, just like the curtain call where the curtain comes down, and it was very slow. And when the curtain finally shut to the end, I was in complete darkness, complete dark, not even light, complete darkness. Like I could not see anything. Now, mind you, I'm walking on my way to work, and I get a block and a half from my house, and I'm almost in the middle of the street. So I had to make the decision of whether or not to, call or act crazy or panic, but somebody would have thought that I was high or drunk, and anything could have happened to me at that moment, and I would have never saw where it came from. So, I just kept my composure, and I walked as if I was going back to my house by memory. I walked that path thousands of times over and over again, almost every day, until someone walked up on me and they asked me what was wrong, and I told them I can't see. And they were like, yo, you're looking right at me. And I'm like, I cannot see you. So they called the ambulance, and I'm riding to the ambulance. Mind you, my composure is like so calm and relaxed. And I'm not fussing, I'm not worried. I just want to figure out what's going on. So I get to the hospital. The nurses and the doctors are trying to help me out, and they keep asking me if I did recreational drugs like cocaine. I'm like, no, like I don't do none of that. I don't even smoke marijuana anymore. I quit March 2nd of 2015, and they kept on asking me, do you do cocaine? Do you do heroin? I'm like, no. I said, why do y'all keep on asking me that? And they said, well, your pupils are so dilated, they look like cup saucers. And I said, what does that mean? They saying, we don't know right now, we gotta run tests. So at this time, my mom and dad, they were away, and they were about an hour and a half away. So I really didn't have anybody to come to me because I didn't know how to use my phone because I couldn't see it. So the doctors had my phone, and I told them to look at my phone and find a number that says Aunt Esther. And that's my beautiful Aunt Esther who taught me how to play the drums. She's the reason why I play the drums. And also my god brother Rashim. I'm gonna get to that. And look for the name Godmom. So they called my Aunt Esther. She didn't answer immediately. So they called my godmom. My godmom answered the phone, and then they called my parents. So my godmom and my Aunt Esther get there, and they asked me what's wrong. I was telling them I can't see, and then my mom and dad get there. Then my god brother Rasheen gets there. So I'm in my own little private room at this time while the doctors are coming in, looking at me like I'm crazy, because you could just feel the atmosphere is just like, we don't know what to do because this is crazy, because I instantly lost my sight in both of my eyes. So I'm sitting in my private room for 5 hours, and finally the optometrist doctor comes in, and another doctor comes in, and a nurse comes in. She grabs my arm and she starts crying. The only reason why I know this is because my dad yelled at her because he knew from her face that it was bad. So he yelled. He said, well, "What? Why are you holding? Why are you holding him like that?" So she didn't say anything. So the doctors immediately said, "Well, we got the results back, and you lost sight in both of your eyes from something like a stroke. It's called retinal bivascular occlusion, and you lost sight in both of your eyes. You're going to be forever blind in your left eye, and your right eye is going to get worse before it gets better." And instantly, I thought my life was over right there, because from what they told me, I'm only the fourth person in American history to ever lose their sight instantly in both of their eyes since 1974. And my brother, who's holding the camera right here, can vouch for that, because he was also one of my supporters at the hospital, making sure that I was good. Right then and there, I was just like cursing God, like, this ain't fair. What did I ever do to you? All types of blasphemies, man. So I finally calmed down, and I said to God, I said, "God, I don't want to wake up tomorrow. I don't want to wake up at all tomorrow. But if you wake me up tomorrow, I'm going to make sure I try to at least put a smile on everybody's face, because it's a reason why you waking me up. I don't believe in you right now, but there was some type of belief for me to even ask God to do that." So I'm in the hospital for 6 days. They got me on all types of IVs. They took about 65 tubes of blood. They poked me with a needle 22 times. And the end of the 6 days, they let me go. And the reason why is they have no idea why I lost my sight. They don't know where it stemmed from. They just know I had a condition called retinal bivascular occlusion, but they do not know where it came from. Still to this day, they do not know where it came from. So, they had me on prednisone. I gained 15 pounds in 6 days. So I went in at 215, left at 230 pounds. But guess what I did? The next day, I plotted to go drink. So the day after that day, I went right back to the block, got a bottle, and was drinking heavy. And it didn't stop. Because that need for alcohol was still there. It was even killing me in the hospital. I even asked somebody if they can get me at least a quarter pint of Henny while I was in the hospital. A lot of rumors went around that I got shot, I got stabbed, and my heart stopped, and I lost my vision. Everybody thought it was due to the alcohol, which it wasn't, but that wasn't an excuse to keep drinking. So eventually life goes on, and here we are in 2020. And 2018, 2018, I'm sorry. I started a relationship with my beautiful wife. And I got engaged to her on December 31st or January 1st of 2018, 2019. And we got married May 17th. And tomorrow will be our 1-year anniversary. And also her birthday. We got married on her birthday. And, people ask me like, yo, how do you even stand? How do you even want to live? Because I was literally at the point where I said, God, I hate you. I hate you with all of me. I hate you with everything in my body, because you did this to me. It was nobody else that did this to me, because if they can't find out where it came from, so it had to be you. So I hate you. Thanks a lot. I hate you, God. And I had to deal with depression and low self-esteem, and waking up in the dark every day waking up in the dark. So I say this all to say that with my testimony of losing my sight, when they said that my right eye, if you look at me right now, you think I'm not blind. I may be going lazy eyed or something, but you know, that's because of how my sight is now. You may think that I could see perfectly clear. I walk around by myself. When they said that I could never do that at all by myself, I would have to use a cane. I don't even use my cane. I keep my cane in my book bag because I promised my teacher when I went to school in 2017 from the Joseph Cone Training Center that I'll never go anywhere without my cane. I do sometimes when I don't need my book bag, but I promised her that I never leave the house without taking my cane with me because they taught me so much about how to get around with a cane. I'm certified to read and write Braille. I'm certified to cook. I did that before, you know. But I say that all in all, that my left eye is still blind, but I have flashes in my left eye that they said that I would never have. In my right eye, I was 90% blind. Left eye out, right eye like almost gone except for 10%. But now I got about 35 to 40% of my sight in my right eye. When they said that it was going to get worse, it got better. When they said that it never would get better, it got better. And that's nothing that's all due to God. That's all due to God. And you know, I say that because we believe that when certain things happen to us and they get us in a funk and we're depressed and we don't know what to do, we stop believing in God. God has a plan for something for a time such as this. There's a plan that God has set for us in the midst of our struggle, in the midst of our pain, in the midst of our depression, in the midst of our suicide attempts, our contemplation of suicide. God has a purpose all in that. As long as you keep your eyes on God, you got to keep your eyes on God. You got to talk to God. You got to hear God. You got to listen to God, because some people just hear God, but they don't listen. You got to really listen to God and see what he's trying to say to you. You know, I ain't never think that I ever was going to get married. It was always my dream to get married and have kids, but after I lost my sight, I ain't think anybody wanted me. And my wife, who I love to the death and the life of me, saw something beyond my affliction, beyond my disability, and I will forever be indebted to my wife because I made that vow, number one. Number two is, before we got married, she made sure that she did not look at me as a different person. She saw Edward. She didn't see Chalk Kids. She saw Edward. So I'm forever indebted to my wife. And I never thought I'd be here where I have two kids, you know. My daughter, I've gained a great relationship with my daughter. And then now we just had our son, you know, my first kid, my first biological, the namesake, you know, the continuation of the legacy of my name, you know, and I just thank God because, you know, the testimony that I have, I just want to encourage people. This is why he gave me this testimony, because my purpose is to encourage people, because I've been in the streets, I've done the alcohol, I've contemplated suicide. It was people there when I was about to jump out of a second-story window, and they grabbed me and kept me from doing that. And there was a reason why God put those people in my life, because I had to be here for this. I had to encourage y'all. I had to encourage the masses. Even though we're going through this coronavirus thing, I still had to find a way to reach the people and let them know that there's life better than this. This too shall pass. And we will come out of this victorious as long as we keep our eyes on God, you know. So I just want to encourage people that if you're struggling with anything, you know, just start believing. Start believing. Because I guarantee you, if you start really listening, blot out everything that's around you and start focusing on the voice of God, you'll hear him clear as day. You'll hear him clear as day. It is not going to be long before God pours success on your life. Now, we may think that we got good success right now. Without God, that's false success, because he's going to give you a storm that he's going to drop you to your knees and make you believe. He's going to make you believe in him. You know, so I just wanted to put this out there to encourage everybody and not to give up on God, because he's never, giving up on us. He just put obstacles in our way for us to get to the end of the obstacles. All right? I love you guys. God bless. Peace.